What's up, guys? I'm doing a little video here. I'm sorry, I'm a little sick with a cold. I was just halfway through the video and I sneezed, and I didn't really want to keep that in, and I'm not a big edit guy, so I'm just doing this straight. I heard some news. The MLB is looking to cancel more games, and now this is just insane to me because I'm hearing owners made $100 million last year, $100 million profit, and they're okay with just canceling games and missing out on that money. The players are missing out on money also. You know, I saw stats of guys just missing, like, every game that's not played, $200,000, $500,000, $1 million. And they're just like, what are we doing this for? Well, what is going on? You know, players, they wanted the younger guys to have a better way. You know, so many guys don't get to those huge contracts, so let's get those younger guys paid better. Okay, they were bumped up like $150,000, a very significant raise from where it was at previously. I think it was at $550,000, and now they said they'll do $700,000. And you know, the players are really just arguing about the luxury tax threshold a lot because they don't care about a 14-game playoff. The fans don't want 14-game playoffs. The owners are set on it. The players really don't care. You know, they're just really like, they see that the owners really want that, and the owners are the ones that are going to profit the most off of that. So they're trying to say, we don't want to give that to you. You know, give us more, give us more, give us more. And the owners are like, no, we're not interested in giving you that much more. And the players want a $260 million luxury tax threshold, which is kind of absurd. I mean, I think most teams, the league average last year for team payrolls was around $132 million. And, you know, you're down to $132 million. They want a $260 million luxury tax threshold. And I think that a lot of owners don't want to agree to that because a lot of owners like getting that extra revenue when the big market teams go past it, like the Yankees, the Dodgers, etc. But I think only the Dodgers actually went past that threshold last year. You know, there was teams that got close, but I think the Dodgers were the only ones who actually went over it. And they went over it by a lot. But, you know, I really just think it's stupid that they're arguing over like $220 million, $260 million. I don't think a lot of teams are going to hit that $220 million anyway. A lot of teams have seen the success of the Tampa Bay Rays. When they've had success, they haven't won a World Series, but they've had a lot of success with like a $30 million payroll. Last year they had a $70 million payroll. But a lot of teams want to replicate that kind of success, and just, you know, once you get into the playoffs, you just have to have a chance to win. And with a 14-team playoffs, you have to do a lot less to make the playoffs. So a lot of teams, they're not going to want to spend the money. They're not going to want to go past the 210. They're not going to want to. Everybody's interested in developing their young players and getting that cheap labor, basically. You know, get those years out of those guys. You know, they're basically in their prime now when they're younger. There's no steroids. Guys aren't playing till they're 40 years old. You know, they're kind of out of the game at a younger age now. So all the teams are trying to get those players for cheap and get out before those big contracts. You know, there's still certain guys who get the big contracts. You know, 1% of players or something like that will get those big 10-year contracts or whatever, those large deals. But for the most part, they're making those, you know, fairly small numbers compared to those big guys. So I don't really see the big problem of just accepting that $700,000 minimum that goes up every year. You got the pre-arb bonus pool money, so you can make a lot more if you perform at a high level, which a lot of these young guys are. They're very worthy of the money, and they will get those big contracts when they're ready. They just got to continue to produce. You know, these teams spend a lot of time producing these guys and letting them go through the system. So, you know, they have the 6 years of control or whatever, and they got to make do with that. I know they were doing other things with the service time, which I liked. But basically, I'm just, I think the teams really want to be like the Rays, and they don't want to spend all that money. So make a salary floor of $100 million and, make the luxury tax threshold around 210, 220. I mean, I don't see the Yankees going up to 260 because all of a sudden they could spend that much. They're interested in reducing their payroll. They've been making stupid statements that we don't have to have a $200 million payroll to win a World Series. They've been making those stupid comments, and they haven't done it. But they are looking to cut back. You see them really walk away from a lot of big free agents, saying they're not worth the money. They kind of lowball them, and then another team just gives them more money. You saw this with Patrick Corbin as an example. There was just so many of them where they looked at Machado and they didn't get him. They ended up getting Stanton, and Stanton, his deal isn't that big really. He's not making $30 million a year. I think he makes like $26.5 million, which is not that outrageous, especially for a guy who came to the Yankees after winning a National League MVP. And you're getting that guy, he had insane numbers. He was always a fantastic player, just injury problems, really. And, you're getting that guy for $26.5 million. The big free agent they signed was Garrett Cole, but before that, the big free agents, they really weren't signing. They walked away from their own guy, Cano, who was a great fit for the Yankees. I'm not going to say they should have signed him or not, but he was an amazing fit for the Yankees. Great for that ballpark. They ended up having scrubs at second base ever since walking away from him. They decided to get Brian McCann, Ellsbury, Beltran instead of Cano. And those guys were on, lesser deals, especially McCann and Beltran. Ellsbury got an insane deal, which was a complete waste of money. So they really haven't been that smart with their money. They haven't gone for those big free agents. They've tried to spread it out and get lesser players, which really hasn't worked out. But, you just see that trend of they're going downwards. They want to spend less money. They want to produce their guys, give their young guys a chance, and maybe surround them by some veterans, kind of a Moneyball approach. So, really, what are we doing? Wake up. Wake up, players. The game is changing. They're not trying to buy all these free agents. All the teams are not doing that. Like I said, the league's average of payroll was $132 million. Down to $132 million, that was the average. You had the Dodgers that probably drove up that average so much by being near $300 million. The Yankees were down at $209. You have the Boston Red Sox, which is a big market. They had all the hitting. I'm not sure why they didn't invest in more pitching, but their payroll was at $180 million. So what are you thinking, players? What are you thinking? Who's going up to 260 when you raise that bar? They weren't even at the 210. So what's going on? This is really just bullshit. I'm not sure if what these players are doing. I don't think Max Scherzer and Boris and Garrett Cole, I don't think these guys are the best for the game right now. I think they're really just thinking that they're bigger than the game, or they want to go head to head with the owners. Look, I'm not all for the owners either, but we got to make concessions here. The owners are the owners. I think that some of these owners are really crap and got to get voted out by the other owners. But I think if we get a $100 million salary floor, that will help a lot. Because then you get the Pittsburgh Pirates, $100 million. You can't afford it, get out. The Rays, $100 million. Cleveland Indians, $100 million. Oakland A's, $100 million. And you get all these guys, all these teams that are now signing all these free agents. A few years ago, there were so many free agents that had to retire and everything like that. They weren't getting offers. And that's just been the trend of years on. Once they're at that age, they could have a decent season the year before. They're not getting signed. Even this year, there's so many free agents out there still. And, there's been a lot of signings, but they were mostly the bigger guys. Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, Robbie Ray. And Robbie Ray, even, he really seemed to get a much lower contract than I thought he would. But, now you have the lesser guys out there. There's still Correa, there's still Trevor Story, there's good ones, but they're not going to get those monster deals. Correa will, but not the others. And Correa may even, who knows what he's going to do now with this mess. But, that's really what I got to say here today. I really want to bring in that point about the Tampa Bay Rays and just teams wanting to model themselves after that approach. Teams aren't spending those crazy monies. The Yankees' payroll has been going down, or mostly staying the same. They really haven't increased in spending. Part of that has been because of the luxury tax. Part of that is because they got Hal Steinbrenner that thinks his father was spending crazy and that he's much smarter than that and doesn't have to spend that much. But, your track record says otherwise, Hal. Anyway, that's all I got to say. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I know you guys are all frustrated with this thing. And my last point is that I want to say is any baseball is better than no baseball. So I'm kind of with whatever goes on right now. 14-team playoff, go for it. I don't care. I just want baseball. The owners are set on that 14. I'm not going to like it, but I just want baseball, honestly. And this is ridiculous. I don't want to miss any more games. It's a game I love. And a lot of us need it. So, have a great day, guys. Let me know what you think. See you.